Hey guys and girls, welcome back to some Great Ace Attorney, where we left off. A lot happened. Go check out the last part if you want to figure out. SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine he won't let us in this time. That we won't be able to for a while. We'll never get past that sailor guarding it. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosanaga is unscathed. What do you mean unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin? He was going to talk to the captain. He said he'd lay his life on the line. Yeah, but I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Where is he? Oh. Oh, he looks beat up. Oh, no. You're back. Inspector. What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me. So it was nothing, really. Looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Shums. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that gracious angel? That graceful angel. Oops, I think I upset him. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed. Ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Do tell. What is this new information? It's this. The Birdia's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem? Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written. His neck was broken? Oh my god. Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of wounds suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility. No obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Oh, Mr. Shums was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes, just one thing. But he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I don't know what he meant. It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Shums know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red, then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yeah, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well. I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asoki-san. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing, too. You, where did you go? Sorry, I just went to the next cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him into a cold room. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo. there's anything really new here, right? Piece of small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim. 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff has gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. Holmes being stupid again. Clearly. This caroling. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can. Definitely. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not stringy knot. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate. I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Alright. Let's have a look around then. Case is open. Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's empty inside. But according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Borea. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it? There's a food bowl. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof? What? A leak? Is the ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course, you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think? Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Check her desk. There's just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It seems that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading. Books written in Russian. Thanks, I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo. Kindly remember that. Why is her books messed up like Kazuma's? All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again. I don't like seeing things in disarray. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. I didn't check her wardrobe myself. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here, yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose there are stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. There's one of these next to the bed. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. There's hooks. I guess I could do the rolls, too. weapons, objects in their cabins. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. She's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin. Yeah, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery. And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater from coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of, passing a thread through. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. I think that's really it, right? Let's go back outside. See if anyone's there. No? Did we get anything from her room? I don't think we did. I would like to examine this case, but there's nothing on it. Which is annoying. Oh. Hello. It's Mr. Shums. Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. The great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all, and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Holmes! What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting the fellow when he's singing. I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now's as good a time as any. I was nearly dropped. You I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Could you put those fists away? Mr. Shums. You seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's logs, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's logs. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report, nothing of note happened. Oh, you truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. But simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habits of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Now, that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Shums. Brilliance! No. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. You seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning, for some reason. We're all having throbbing head pains. This is weird. Well, my friends, until our next encounter... He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... Well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. You too? Nah, what's that? It's an alarm. Shut down the engine immediately. Vessel sighted. A quarter mile 4. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Wow! Uh-oh. That's not good. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think. Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? Wait, why was it bolted? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And... Oh, and look at all the books. So we need to figure out if the boat stopped at any point during the time. Because if it did, that could have been what locked Kazuma's door. They're just like they were before. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. To be continued.